সুপ্রিয় দর্শক সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি টিভিএন 24 টেলিভিশন আয়োজিত নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান টিভিএন অ্যানালিসিস। আমি হাবিব রহমান আছি আপনাদের সাথে। দুঃখিত, যারা সরাসরি দেখছেন বাসায় বসে, যারা ফেসবুক লাইভে দেখছেন, যারা পরবর্তীতে ইউটিউবে দেখবেন, সোশ্যাল মিডিয়াতে, আশা করি সবাই ভালো আছেন আমাদের সাথে দেখছেন অনুষ্ঠানটি। আজকের অনুষ্ঠানটি বেশ কয়েকটি জিনিস তুলে ধরার চেষ্টা করব এবং যে সমস্ত বিষয়ে আলাপ করব তার কয়েকটি এখনই জানিয়ে রাখতে চাই এবং এই সমস্ত বিষয়ে আলাপ করার জন্য কে আছেন স্টুডিওতে আমি কিছুক্ষণ পরে জানাচ্ছি। চলুন আগে এক এক করে দেখে নিই অন স্ক্রিনে কী কী বিষয় নিয়ে আমরা কথা বলবো। আমরা যদি প্রথম স্লাইডটি দেখতে পারি সবাইকে। ওকে, আপনারা এখন যেটি দেখছেন, এই বছর যে সমস্ত জিনিসে পরিবর্তন এসেছে তার একটি তালিকা তৈরি করেছি আমরা এবং এই তালিকা দেখে আপনি বুঝতে পারবেন যে 2024 ফেডারেল ইনকাম ট্যাক্স ব্র্যাকেট রেট, এখানে পরিবর্তন এসেছে। ক্যাপিটাল গেইন ট্যাক্স রেটে পরিবর্তন এসেছে। স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ডিডাকশন 2024, চাইল্ড ট্যাক্স ক্রেডিট 2024, আমেরিকান অপরচুনিটি ট্যাক্স উইচ ইজ বেসিক্যালি এডুকেশন ক্রেডিট, এখানে পরিবর্তন এসেছে। 401k কন্ট্রিবিউশন লিমিট ইনক্রিজ করা হয়েছে, বাড়ানো হয়েছে। সোশ্যাল সিকিউরিটি কস্ট অফ লিভিং অ্যাডজাস্টমেন্ট কোলা, এটা বাড়ানো হয়েছে। গিফট ট্যাক্স রেট যেটা আছে 2024 সেটা বাড়ানো হয়েছে। 2024 হেলথ সেভিংস অ্যাকাউন্ট HSA যেটিকে বলা থাকে কন্ট্রিবিউশন লিমিট বাড়ানো হয়েছে। অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা হবে আর্ন ইনকাম ট্যাক্স ক্রেডিট 2024, এটি বাড়ানো হয়েছে। পরবর্তী স্লাইডটি যদি আমরা একটু দেখি, এটি হচ্ছে হাই প্রায়োরিটি চেঞ্জেস। এখানে বেনিফিশিয়াল ওনারশিপ রিপোর্টিং রিকোয়ারমেন্ট, এটি অনেকের প্রয়োজন আছে, অনেকের নেই, কিন্তু এখানে পরিবর্তন এসেছে। IRS ইন্টারেস্ট রেট ইনক্রিজ, এইটি পরিবর্তন এসেছে, অলরেডি তৈরি করা হয়েছে। এবং ফর্ম 1099K রিপোর্টিং, এটিরও বেশ কিছু পরিবর্তন এসেছে। এই সমস্ত বিষয়ে আজকে আলোচনা থাকবে এবং এই আলোচনায় আমার সাথে আজ স্টুডিওতে যোগ দিয়েছেন অনেক দিন পর মাইকেল মোতাজেদি।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Public certified accountant, managing director for Motazedi PC, good enough. Thank you. What's the last time we have done the program together?
Let's say November. Last year?
It's got to be last year.
It's got to be last year.
It's been a long time.
I know it has.
So, I mean, I'm not going to ask you why did you disappear and all these things. We're going to take that offline. But let's focus on these things. আপনারা যারা অনুষ্ঠানটি দেখছেন, আমার অনেক my personal many things is he handles it. Let's keep that off the record for now.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we have many changes this year. But we'll talk about something that affects our community most.
Of course.
And then I'm going to have some questions. And দর্শক আপনাদের যদি প্রশ্ন থাকে, আপনারা যে নাম্বারটি দেখছেন অন স্ক্রিনে 646-307-9828, আবার বলছি 646-307-9828, এই নম্বরে ফোন করতে পারেন। আমরা চেষ্টা করবো আপনার প্রশ্ন উত্তর নেয়ার এবং সর্বাত্মক চেষ্টা করবো। যদি আপনি ফেসবুকে থেকে থাকেন, আপনি সেখানেও প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন। Let's start with some major changes that actually concerns our community, Bangladeshi community, especially in the Northeast. And I know tax is different for different states, but generally they're very
of course.
So let's start with tax 2024. What are the major changes that our people should be looking?
Look, the major changes we should be focusing on right now is you're going to see a big bump in the standard deduction. What does that mean? Right? That's because of inflation. So if your income stays exactly the same, you're actually going to be paying less tax. Okay? Because your standard deduction is going up. That's actually the deduction you get before they calculate the tax rate.
Okay, so that's one of the major changes. That's a standard deduction. Anything else before we go into details on other topics?
I mean, there's so many different changes. And look, everyone bought the Teslas, right? So that's going to be another big hot topic.
I'm going to come to that. আপনারা যারা টেসলা ক্রয় করেছেন এবছর, so we have some updates for them.
Right.
আপনার জন্য আছে update. We'll talk about this. That's actually a good one because I know so many that bought Tesla this year. How does it benefit them? We'll talk about this. Okay, good. Let's start with the individuals.
Okay.
This tax 2024 season, we're going to break it down in two different categories, major categories, and then we can take some other questions.
Of course.
So, individuals. People who are not married, single, people who are married but without child, and people married with child. These three.
So look, for single people, obviously tax time is usually not something they like to do, okay? Those are not the people who get the real refunds, unless they withheld more on their paycheck than they should have.
Yeah, get married.
Exactly.
Get married.
Get married, borrow some kids, something to get a refund, right? But someone who's married, right, filing jointly, you get the double standard deduction, right, which is great, okay? That's going to be a huge help, especially if only one person is working in the household. That's huge, right? You have someone who, then you have a qualifying child. So let's talk about what a qualifying child is.
Yeah.
You know, I think because that's really where you see the biggest refund you're ever going to get is from how many qualifying children you got, right? So really it maxes out on 3. But a qualifying child has to be 17 or younger on the last day of last day of 2023. It's 12/31/2023. Okay, they've had to live with you for more than half the year. They couldn't have supported themselves, right? You had to provide more than their support. They can't be supporting more than half themselves. That's what makes a qualifying child.
Correct.
Okay, and it's really, really important.
It has to be a child. Can it be a daughter, nephew, brother?
It can be like you could do almost any type of relative, right? But not your roommate. Okay, doesn't count.
They have to be related somewhat way, and under 17.
Under 17 on the last day of
living with you.
2023.
2023, December 31st.
That's right.
What if they live just for one day? No, it doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count.
So it has to be throughout the calendar year.
Yeah, it has to be throughout. You just have to at least half the year, right?
Okay. And what are the benefits they're looking at?
Earned income
Married
credit.
with
Earned income credit is really what you're going to go after, right?
Right.
So look, the big deal with the earned income credit is where do you get the biggest bang and where does it start phasing off, right?
Right.
Really the real ideal income is like 18,000 and change.
18,500,
18,500 is really that's when you max.
So let me just break this down.
Sure.
আপনারা যারা ম্যারিড এন্ড বাচ্চা আছে আপনাদের 17 বছরের নিচে, আপনার যদি ইনকাম হয়ে থাকে $18,500 $18,500 বা তার নিচে 18,500 or under.
No. That's where you actually, it ramps, right?
Okay.
So it goes like this, right? And that's where 18,500. Then it stops, right? And when you're like 21 something, it starts coming down.
Okay. So ideal situation আপনার জন্য হবে যদি আপনি 18,500 is the ideal solution.
That's the ideal.
Okay.
That's a sweet spot.
Okay, that's a sweet spot. আপনি ধর if a family has 2 or 3 kids and 18,500, we're just putting some numbers up there.
Correct.
What's the child tax credit would look like?
Say 3 kids is like 7,440.
Okay, approximately.
That is the right number.
That's I'm sorry. Say that again.
7,440.
$7,440 আপনি যদি হাজবেন্ড ওয়াইফ হয়ে থাকেন এবং আপনার যদি 3টি বাচ্চা থাকে and আপনার ইনকাম যদি হয়ে থাকে $18,500 আপনি পাচ্ছেন $7,440. So that's the ideal sweet spot.
Correct.
Now I don't want to go all the way to the left field by myself, but let's just stay
Go
with
ahead.
this. Okay, good. So this is a married with children.
Correct.
Filing married jointly.
Yeah, with 3 kids.
With 3 kids. Got it. Now, single people gets nothing. That's one thing. There's one thing that I'm hearing a lot, that this year, if you don't have any income, you get no child tax credit at all. Is this true? If it's not, can you break it down?
Look, you're still going to have to show something. It can't be like 0-0. It's going to be very hard to do that. Why? Because look, everything with all this, the earned income credit, all this stuff, right? It's for people who have low income. That's what it was built for.
Correct.
Low income. You got to earn money to get money. That's why it's called the earned income credit.
What they call there was an ad on TV a long time ago when I was in college. You got to be in it to win it.
That's right.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. What was it? New York Lotto?
I don't know if it was, but I remember. I do remember the saying.
You got to be in it to win it.
Exactly.
Okay. So যেটি বলছেন Mike যে $0 হতে পারবে না. Your income cannot be $0. It cannot be $100. It cannot be $500.
No. There's always this threshold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So অনেকেই আপনাদের পরামর্শ দিয়ে থাকে because people get advices. File a $0 thing.
No. Listen. If you look at the earned income credit tax table, okay, anyone can Google it. You will see that even $100, you get something.
Okay. Tahia Rubayat Apula. Information engagement is great. I try. And thank you. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So, আপনারা খেয়াল রাখবেন $0 tax file করবেন না. Please don't do that. Okay. Small businesses.
But let me just break one more thing out because it's really important for our people that are watching. Actually, I beg everybody, please do not put your parents who are getting home care. If you're getting home care, do not put them on your taxes. I beg everybody, it's not good.
I want you to repeat that once again, please.
So whoever's they're getting Medicaid, right, or you're taking care of them and you get the home care deduction, which we're going to talk about anyways.
Yes.
Listen, keep them on a separate tax return.
What does that mean?
So say you're getting the deduction and you're making a certain amount of money, right?
Well, let's put a number. You're making 20,000.
Forget about the home care. You have another job.
Yeah.
Let's just say you have another job and you're making 70,000. You throw that on the taxes, you got a problem.
Okay.
So I tell everyone, don't even file them. File them when you need to, right? Someone asks you for a file, don't just make a file.
But how do they get a child tax credit if they don't file a tax?
No, I'm talking about for the parents.
For the parents.
I'm for the parents.
Explain that situation a little bit more so that everybody understands.
Okay. Look, if your income is too high, and you file them on your taxes, you're considered part of the house. They're considered part of the household, right? And you want them to get their benefits, right? So all you got to do is file a separate tax return with mom and dad. There you could do a 0-0, okay?
And then claim them dependent?
No.
Just keep them separate.
You just keep them separate to keep them safe.
I think I need to break this down. But please finish it.
Because here's the thing. Yeah, you're going to get that $500. If you put them on, you get that $500 each, right? You know how much that insurance would be out of pocket?
Okay.
It's a lot more than $500.
Of course, yes. So, Michael Motazedi যেটি বলছেন, আপনার বাবা মা যদি আপনার সাথে থাকেন, আপনি তাদেরকে নিয়ে ট্যাক্স ফাইল করবেন না। This is not good for you at least this year. At least this year, এই বছরের জন্য। আপনার যেটি উপায় করতে হবে, আপনাকে তাদের ট্যাক্স ফাইলটি আলাদা করতে হবে। না হলে আপনার ইনকামের সাথে তাদেরকে ডিপেন্ডেন্ট দিলে আপনার বেনিফিটটা কমে আসবে। অ্যান্ড দ্যাটস ওয়াই এই একটি কারণে আপনারা যে শোটি দেখছেন এখানে আমরা যথেষ্ট চেষ্টা করছি, উই আর ট্রাইং আপনাকে দ্য বেস্ট ইনফরমেশন পসিবল দিতে, কিন্তু আপনাকে কিন্তু দিন শেষে যখন ট্যাক্স ফাইল করবেন অ্যাট দ্য এন্ড অফ দ্য ডে আপনাকে কিন্তু ভালো একজন সিপিএ, ভেরি গুড কোয়ালিটি সিপিএ, ওয়েল নোন, ওয়েল রেপুটেড, এক্সপিরিয়েন্স যে আছে তার সাথে আপনাকে বসতেই হবে। I'm not saying আমি আপনাকে বলছি না আপনি মাইকেল মোতাজিদির সাথে যে বসে যান, ইউ ক্যান গো টু হিম হ্যাপিলি, বাট আপনাকে ইফ ইউ ডোন্ট গো টু হিম, গো টু সামবাডি যিনি ভালো করে জানেন, হি নোজ থিংস ভেরি ওয়েল। সো আপনার বাবা মা যদি আপনার সাথে থাকে, আপনার ইনকাম থাকে, ধরে নিন আপনার ইনকাম সামওয়্যার বিটুইন $60,000 and $70,000, আপনার অনেক কিছু চিন্তা ভাবনার ব্যাপার আছে। File them separately. That's one of the advice Michael Motazedi.
I'm going to give you one more.
Yes, please.
If they're not in this, if they don't live here, they don't come to the United States, then put them on your tax file.
If they don't
live here, so they're not getting any benefits.
Well, they don't have the Social Security either.
A lot of parents come here, they don't like it, they leave.
Oh, I see. The people who are not living, আপনারা আরেকটি জিনিস খেয়াল রাখবেন, তারা যদি এখানে না থাকে, এখানে ছিলেন, থাকেন না, Social Security আছে, don't file it.
I'm saying you can add them, you can add, because they don't need the benefits, right? So take that 500 each.
So যদি ওনারা এখানে না থাকে, তাদের কোনো ইনকাম নেই, কোনো বেনিফিট নাই, কোনো কিছু নেই, তখন আপনারা ইনকাম তাকে আপনার ডিপেন্ডেন্ট হিসাবে ফাইল করতে পারেন। বাট এগেন প্লিজ আপনাকে একজন ভালো সিপিএর কাছে যেতে হবে। ইউ হ্যাভ টু সিট ডাউন।
Everyone has a different situation.
Everybody's situation, every situation is different. মিলন সরদার, one of the best CPA in New York. That's for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Okay, so we are okay on this one. We're going to move on to the small business.
Sure.
I think this is one of the key things. I want you to break it down, why people cannot take the advantage when it comes to filing taxes with the small businesses and how it hurts them, and so third part is what they can this year.
So look, this year is done. It's not like you can change. Okay, I can't change to an S corp or anything like that, right? Those days now.
Those are technical things.
Those are technical things, right? The most important thing I want to tell everyone is it's something called bonus depreciation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this has passed this year.
It was there last year.
It's going to.
It was last year too.
Okay, fine.
Okay. The most important reason is say you made a ton of money this year. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah. So you made a lot of money.
You made a lot of money. You didn't expect it. You didn't know what you were doing, but you did very well, right? What do? If you have a car, right, if you have a car that's been used more than 50% in the business, which everyone does, okay, you can actually do a bonus depreciation. You just bought that car. You get that thing for over $19,000 deduction. Now, what's the double?
$19,000 deduction?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
But here's the thing you got to realize. You basically, next year it's going to hurt you, right? Because you lost a big piece of it, right? But the other whammy for that one is, if you get a house loan, you get to add that income back.
We're going to go into house loan
Okay.
in more detail.
All right, but I'm just telling you that's a big thing for the small business.
Mohammed Shahid Shakib, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but he's asking, any advice for new tax filer for a single person?
Ain't bad.
And that's why I said I don't want to be the bearer of the bad news.
You know what? It's not that bad. Listen, I'll tell you, this year is much, much better for you than it's going to be than if you did the year prior. Okay? Sure, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt, but it's not as bad.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So get married.
Okay, get married. If you're not, Motazedi, see a good CPA, please, our accountant, whatever floats your boat, but do it. I mean, in a good context. I didn't mean it that way.
But it's true. No, listen, it's true. It's one of the hardest things being a single person filing. You know you're going to pay. You want to pay as little as possible.
Yeah. So my statement stays true. Whatever floats your boat.
Exactly. Yeah, see a qualified person. Yes, absolutely see it.
Of course. Okay, so one question I get regularly, and I posed that question to you last time we spoke over the phone. He gave me the answer, but I want you to break it down for everybody else. The question is, I didn't move away from the small business yet.
Okay.
There is no income. This question আপনারা অনেকেই প্রশ্ন জিজ্ঞেস করেছেন. There is no income, federal income tax on home care employees living in the same house. Please.
So as long as the person lives in the same exact house as you, and you could prove that, right? It's tax free. Okay. You could have.
So is this a statement is true or false?
It's definitely tax-free.
It is tax-free.
Yes.
So this is true.
There's even a separate section on the 1040, which is the first page of the federal income tax form, that has a special section for it.
Wonderful. Okay, so that question is answered. Now I have a question from here. Zubair Rahman. He's saying, how are you, brother? We are doing well. It's Friday night. We are hosting the show. Could have been somewhere else, but it's okay. We take that. Can you please explain me about 25K grant funds for homeowners? Last week, someone spoke about this on our channel.
Yes, the one they have to pay the $200?
Yeah, well, it seems like it.
Look,
but it's a $25,000 grant for the house.
Yeah, for only 15 people.
Explain that. I know.
Okay.
I'm going there. Yes.
Look. I haven't spoken to anybody about it, but I've done my research on it.
Yeah.
Look, you have to pay a $200 application fee. Only 15 people are getting it. Okay.
And there are millions.
That's what I'm trying to go there.
So
okay. You know what my next thing's going to say. Okay. You got better odds somewhere else.
Okay. So the question is $25,000 grant for the homeowners. Yes, true. সমস্যা হচ্ছে মাত্র 25 you said 15 এটি দেয়া হবে মাত্র 15 জনকে এবং আপনি কি বুঝতে পারছেন যে কত মানুষ কত হোমওনার অ্যাপ্লিকেশন করেছেন and that is probably more than million so chances আপনার সুযোগ এখানে পাওয়ার মানে it's a lottery
it really is
if you get it congratulations you have done the impossible possible so that's it. আশা করি আপনার প্রশ্নের উত্তর পেয়েছেন. Let's go back into the small business can benefit. What are the things they can do? And when I say small business, most of our people have shops, vending, food vendors. We have business owners, restaurants and cafes. We also have a majority who are driving Uber, Lyft, a yellow cab, and a big portion of them has a LLC or C Corp or S Corp. It's mostly for them.
Right. So look, let's go back to the drivers because
fine.
Let's say 90% of my clients are.
Okay.
Right? But a lot of them also medallions. So what I want everyone to be very, very, very careful with. If you have a medallion, you can add something called amortization.
Yes.
Okay? It's like depreciation, right? Obviously, this thing doesn't really move in value that much since we saw it at, what, it was 150?
Yeah.
Right? But anyways, whatever you bought it for, it's going to be straight-lined over 15 years. So basically, you bought it for this. You chop it up over 15 years. Every single year, you're going to get that deduction.
Over the years.
Right. A lot of people forget about it. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. You know? But it's a huge savings. And just like depreciation, amortization, it's the same thing with mortgages.
Right. I'm going to go into mortgages.
I know. I'm just bringing it up in case we forget.
No. I don't forget. Now, since we are on this 1099 and Yellow Cab and Uber, so what would be your advice for the Uber drivers, Yellow Cab, and Lyft drivers? What would be your advice?
Look, really be mindful about your repairs, right? Gas is gas, you know. It's pretty easy, right? You got car wash, you got laundry you're doing. Listen, do not write off meals, please. You didn't take your clients out.
Right.
You didn't take your clients
you
out.
ate for yourself.
You ate for yourself, okay? Anybody who's putting
that's
that on
not deductible.
it's a high audit red flag. Please don't do that. Again, going back to repairs, just go through all your receipts. Remind yourself what you did. Did you have to fix your engine, tires, obviously oil changes, all that other stuff.
Maintenance.
Easy stuff, right? Also, be mindful of the extra tolls you spent. Okay, Uber reimburses. Okay, Lyft puts it on the 1099.
Okay,
so you can't hit it on the Uber side.
There's a difference.
There is.
Huge one.
Huge one. Which a lot of people make that mistake. So Uber reimburses you, so you can't be writing that part off.
So যারা Uber চালাচ্ছেন, আপনি টোল পে করছেন, you cannot আপনি এটা ট্যাক্সে ক্লেম করতে পারবেন না। যারা লিফট চালাচ্ছেন, আপনি করতে পারবেন। Okay.
Also, the other thing you got to very be mindful of, you're coming home, right, and you're going across the bridge. You're not getting paid for it, okay?
Right.
But you're trying to get home, right? And you got to pay a toll, right? That's deductible.
You are paying on
You're paying on your own.
Fine.
Trying to get home.
So that's a good news.
Yeah, that's another deduction a lot of people don't take.
Okay.
Okay, those are really for the Uber and Lyft stuff. That's really important.
Bending the food carts and stuff. What's your advice for them?
It's just really keeping track of your expenses, okay? You had renewals. Listen to me, you cannot write off parking tickets, okay? Tickets you cannot write off, okay?
I wish I could.
Of course, so do I. You don't have an idea.
All right, now since we are on the Uber and Lyft and all these things, I want to revisit what you said in the beginning about the Tesla cars or any EVs.
Yeah, most people bought Teslas.
Okay, fine.
Right, most people bought Teslas. There's more Teslas in Jamaica than I've ever seen.
We're just saying Tesla. They're not paying us.
No.
Okay, so I'll just say EV.
How much Tesla stock you own?
I don't know.
I own 0.
Okay.
But look, with a $7,500 tax credit, right? Most people bought it because of the electric plates, okay? That's where it came from, right?
PLC plates.
Exactly. So you guys want to write it off on the business side, not the personal side, okay? And remember, with the EV tax credit on the personal side, it's not $7,500, here you go. It's whatever your taxable liability is. What tax would you owe before anything else, before the earned income credit, before all those credits, right? What's that? If it's $4,000, you're only getting $4,000. If it's $9,000, then you're getting $7,500.
Okay, so anybody I'm going to divide them in two categories.
Go ahead.
One, I bought the Tesla or any EV for my personal consumption or usage, or I can have a EV or Tesla and I turned it into, just like you said, for TLC car number and driving Uber. Are there any difference between them?
There's a huge difference. Okay. As I was saying, you get maxed out on the personal side.
Right.
Really what your taxable liability is. What tax do you owe on the income you have?
Correct.
Right? So you could be shorted, okay? If you have just home care, right, and it's tax deductible, you have no tax liability.
Right.
So
you get 0.
There you go.
That's not a good sign.
No, but there are ways.
There are always ways.
There's very good ways.
So let me just bring this up to you. I am creating a scenario again.
Well, maybe.
Single mother, which I'm not, but let's say, bought a house, have a child, and my husband, who has an EV, bought it this year, for example. How does that go for them? As far as 2024 tax return.
So when did they buy it?
2023.
Right. So 2023, depending on how, the personal business.
But he's doing Uber.
He's doing Uber. Okay, good. Right. So
and I have home care. So I'm just putting all
that won't matter because he's got income. Right? He's got income. This is getting a deduction.
Okay.
Okay? But this also goes back to whatever you take, whatever that $7,500 you take off, also it's going to impact depreciation.
Of course.
Right? You can't get both. Right?
One or the other.
Well, it's not. Like, so say the car was, let's say the car is $100,000. You got the $7,500 off. Your new basis for depreciation, what you're dividing up against, is 100 minus 7,500.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But you can definitely do depreciation and get that EV.
Got it. Okay, and it doesn't affect anything else other than this part of it. So they can maximize it if they want.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying to you. You got to go to someone who knows what they're doing with this stuff because this is not just simple tax return stuff.
What are the problems that you actually see when people come with this kind of scenarios?
They don't know what to do. They hear 7,500.
Yeah.
That's all they hear.
Yeah, my friend told me I can get a $10,000 deduction, that kind of thing. But when you encounter that kind of situation, how do you actually diffuse it and actually explain to them that what works for them properly without raising the red flags?
Look, a lot of people hear, oh, he got like a $10,000 deduction, right?
I'm just putting a number out
Easy
there.
number, right?
Right.
But still, you got to figure out, one, you don't know his tax situation. You don't know how much money he made to the dollar. You don't know,
Right.
children. You don't really know his whole family situation. And you don't know what kind of losses he had from the prior year in stocks. Okay, so you don't know any of that stuff. But in general, that's what I try to explain to people.
Right.
And then you have the other people they go to that are
Right.
do some funny stuff.
I actually was referring to those funny stuff and how it can land you in really hot water. I'm going to come to you. I got to take one phone call if you're up for it.
I'm always up for it.
Okay, good. কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে নাম জানিয়ে প্রশ্নটি করুন।
আমার নাম মাহবুবা। আমি একটা প্রশ্ন করতেছি, যারা এবার ইভেল ভিকে কিনছে তাদের কি ওই $7,500 কি ব্যাক পাবে ট্যাক্স ফাইলে?
আপনি দয়া করে প্রশ্নটা আরেকবার করুন। হ্যাঁ, আপনি সময় নিন, সময় নিয়ে গুছিয়ে প্রশ্নটি আরেকবার করুন। প্রথম অংশটি আমি শুনতে পাইনি।
মানে যারা ইভি ভেহিকেল মানে ইলেকট্রিক্যাল ভেহিকেল কিনছে তারা কি ওই ট্যাক্স থেকে রিটার্ন কোনো টাকা পাবে?
হ্যাঁ, সেটি
অন্য কোম্পানি।
আচ্ছা, আপনি কি এই যে ইভিটা ক্রয় করেছেন, এটি কি উবার ট্যাক্সির জন্য নাকি নিজস্ব নিজের জন্য, বাসার জন্য?
উবার ট্যাক্সির জন্য, উবার চালাচ্ছে।
এটি কি 2023 সালে ক্রয় করেছেন?
হ্যাঁ জি, 2023 সালে ক্রয় করা হয়েছে।
ওকে, এবং আপনি জানতে চাচ্ছেন যে 7,500 যে ডিডাকশনটা সেটি আপনার জন্য প্রযোজ্য কিনা, তাই তো?
জি জি।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে, আপনার প্রশ্ন উত্তর দেওয়ার জন্য দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন ইজ।
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ হাবিব ভাই।
আপনাকেও ধন্যবাদ সময় নিয়ে কল করার জন্য। আশা করি আপনার প্রশ্নের উত্তর আপনি পেয়ে যাবেন। Her question is, they bought a EV, not Tesla, and it's for Uber. Can they get 7,500 deduct?
It depends
tax?
on which vehicle you bought. What vehicle?
She didn't mention. She said EV. She didn't say Tesla.
Look,
what does
it's
it matter?
So not every. It depended on the EV at the time. The Teslas really everyone went after Teslas.
There was a special break.
There was a special break. They jumped on it.
Okay.
Okay.
So in case if it's not in her case it's not Tesla.
I don't know if one is it used because the used gets used.
Seemed like new.
New. Okay. But I mean, most people are entitled to the 7,500. But when you go to your person who files your taxes, you must bring your VIN number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So আপনি যিনি ফোন করেছেন, আপনি আশা করি এখনো শুনছেন, দেখছেন প্রোগ্রামটি। আপনার ক্ষেত্রে এটি প্রযোজ্য হওয়ার সম্ভাবনা 90%। যদিও টেসলাকে অগ্রাধিকার দেওয়া হচ্ছে এখানে, কিন্তু আপনার সম্ভাবনাও একেবারে বেশ ভালো আমি বলবো। আপনাকে ভিন নাম্বার নিয়ে যেতে হবে, একজন ভালো সিপিআর সাথে আপনি বসুন। দের ইজ অলওয়েজ এ ওয়ার্ক অ্যারাউন্ড। আমি যেটি বলবো যে আপনার সম্ভাবনা, ইয়োর চান্সেস আর ভেরি হাই, বাট মেক শিওর আপনার ভিন নাম্বার থাকবে, আপনার অন্যান্য কাগজপত্র থাকে, এবং আপনি একজন ভালো সিপিএ, ভালো অ্যাকাউন্টেন্টের সাথে বসবেন। গুড লাক, আপনি পাওয়ার সম্ভাবনা খুব বেশি। ওকে, before the question we were on the Tesla issue, and then we were in a small business.
Right.
Now, one of the major things that happened this year for many people in the high interest rate environment, high mortgage environment, the prices are still shooting up, not as fast as they were like a few months ago, but it's still up. Many people bought houses. And many of them are first-time home buyer. So let's stay with the first-time home buyer. What are the scenarios? Let's put a family of 4 as an example, and they bought their first house. It's a single-family house. How does it work for them this year's tax?
So look, for single families, unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately, it's all about the standard deduction. You got to beat the standard deduction, right?
Which is what?
So it's like 27 and change, right? So
27,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, but you're also maxed out on certain areas.
Which is
the salt deduction, right?
Yes, which is 10,000.
Yeah, but you got to realize something. It's not just property tax that do that, right? So say you withheld 10,000 from your W-2.
Possible.
That counts.
Right. So
for argument's sake, let's say this, right? Say you did 9,000 on your W-2, right? And just say you didn't hold any state, right? And your property taxes are only $1,000.
Yeah.
You maxed it.
Yeah.
right? But most people's property taxes in Long Island, even in the city, it's been creeping
or
up like
Westchester,
crazy. Right.
or a certain part of the Bronx too,
Correct.
like
So that's really
Country club
that's the
side.
problem with the property taxes.
Right.
It's not just, hey, it's $10,000 property taxes.
Right.
Your other stuff impact that's to get to that $10,000 cap,
right.
that wall. we're looking
So
at.
people who bought house, first time buyer,
Mm-hmm.
single family houses, they can also take full advantage of it.
They
this
can.
year.
They can take, look, the people who bought the house, it depends when you bought the house. If you bought it in November,
Right.
you take just a little bit.
A little bit, because it's
Right.
you pass.
Why?
But you
Because-
can adjust it next year.
Right, you'll get the full benefit for the following
Yeah,
year,
but this
right?
year you can
But
get
I want
some.
people to be realistic that's watching
Right.
this, right? And say, why? Right? It's because you bought the house later in the year.
Yeah.
So you only got a couple months worth of interest, a couple months worth of property
Yeah.
taxes. But those are the two areas where you really can.
So the property taxes and the interest could be deducted
Correct.
from your income.
Right.
And any other thing they should be considering?
No, on single families,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's really where it sits.
about
and
two
stands.
families?
Two families are the best things in the world.
Explain.
Why? Because you're living in half, you're renting out the other half,
Right.
right? This is where you can get a huge deduction. Okay, you're going to see, a big impact on your tax return. You're getting rent, right? You're doing half you're getting rent, you're doing half your insurance, half your property taxes, right? Half your depreciation. That's what makes a change.
Okay, so people with the two-family home are in the best situation.
Yes.
Just like we were talking about the married people with 3 kids, 18,500 is the best scenario. Okay, I have a question, and somebody else answered that. You are going to be in trouble. Let's find out. No. Somebody else responded to somebody else's question. That somebody else's question, I'm going to pose it to you.
Sure.
All right, the question is, Sarwar Hussain, he said, my wife earned $2,000 by doing home care, and her parents not living in the same address. Does she need to pay taxes? Please explain.
So in this situation, yes, she'll be paying taxes on her W-2 for $2,000, right? Just $2,020.
Yeah, no, she earned 2,000.
$2,000. Yeah, she's got to pay taxes because she doesn't live in the same household.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but she should be. And if she's not, then make sure she is. I hope, but I understand what I'm trying to say. I mean, there are legal implications, so I really cannot blow it up. But, Sarah Hussain, আপনার এখনো সুযোগ আছে এটি ফিক্স করার। It is a fixable offense.
I mean, it's good. It's only $2,000.
Yeah, it's good.
It's only $2,000.
Only $2,000. And just like this, living in the same house, it really helps big way.
Big way.
The people, we're towards almost the end of our program, but I want to ask you, since everybody is, are going to rush and, it's like a DoorDash kind of thing.
It's already happened.
It's already happened.
And we could already file.
Has been happening.
The 29th is not a real number.
Okay.
was yesterday.
Let's say 29.
All right.
So the people who are already rushed in, they already did the job. People who are not, and is still preparing, what would be your advice to them, and what should they do to maximize their gain?
Well, it's not maximize. It's not just that, right? There's something going on. There's something going on with the bill right now that can actually maximize that. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to probably amend your returns, or if you get lucky, they'll give you the credit back,
automatically,
like they did with the unemployment.
Correct.
It only took forever for that one.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. If you're
That's
held
why
up,
I tell everyone, don't
it's
rush.
3 to 4 months.
Look, don't rush. Do not rush in. Make sure you have all your paperwork. You don't want to have to just come back to the same person and go, oh yeah, I forgot to give you this. You want to have your stuff prepared. You want to get that refund. You don't want to get something stuck and say, well, I got my refund. This guy got his refund. Well, where's my refund?
Right.
Make sure you have all your stuff. What I saw last year was a lot of the 1099-Cs.
Yeah.
The cancellation in debt were flying out all last year, later in the year. And Robinhood's not coming out to February 15th, so I'm telling everybody, at least wait to February 15th.
Right. Okay, so that's just the one. So everybody should wait till February 15th.
Yes, because look, most people have
That's the day after Valentine's. So they
get the money back.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're going to come and see me with the rose, and then I'll
they
help
come
them.
see you with the rose.
Oh, save me. I'll take it. No problem.
Okay.
You make the money. I'll take the roses.
Okay.
Okay, so they should wait till February 15th. Why you picked February 15th? What's
Because that's the day Robinhood is giving out all the 1099s and the stocks.
Oh, Robinhood.
Right. So most people did Robinhood, right? So if you that's going to be a stopper. And let me tell you one: if you have a loss, show it on your tax return. It's a benefit.
If you have a loss.
You have a loss. Remember, people say, "Oh, I got a loss. I don't have any gains."
Okay.
But a loss is actually going to decrease your taxes. So just give the person everything that you got.
Yeah, we didn't touch it. I think we're going to touch it next time, which is the capital gains and stock market. That's a huge one, and I really want to break it down for a lot of people.
Okay.
Those are significant, but we need to take another question. কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে?
আচ্ছা, আমার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে ভাই, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে, আমি রিটায়ার করতে যাচ্ছি, তো রিটায়ার করার পরে আমি ফুল টাইম কাজ করতে পারি কিনা এবং কিভাবে ট্যাক্স দিতে হবে সেটার, এবং কি ধরনের ট্যাক্স দিতে হবে?
খুব ভালো প্রশ্ন করেছেন। যদিও অনেকের কাছে মনে হবে এটা তো সহজ ব্যাপার, কিন্তু এই প্রশ্নটি আসলে অনেকে করে থাকেন। ধন্যবাদ আপনাকে। আপনি আশা করি আপনার প্রশ্ন উত্তর পাবেন খুব সহজে। হি ইজ গোয়িং টু রিটায়ার ভেরি সুন and he plans to continue working after his retirement full time because he's able to do so. How does the tax works at that time? Is there any restriction that he cannot work after retirement?
What is he retiring from?
His current job,
What is it,
job
pensions?
he didn't say it, but I would assume that he's doing
Right, but you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. And there's an income limit to
okay,
that.
fine. Let's hear that.
Right, so it depends on which job it is, right?
Okay.
Then I mean, there's Social Security, retirement, then there's regularly get a pension.
I would assume that he's becoming 62. So let's put that scenario.
Okay.
So when you're eligible for Social Security,
Right.
and a lot of people say that they are getting retirement. I think there are misconception about that. If you are retiring from a government job at age 62, there's a pension associated with
Correct.
it. But if you're not retiring from city or state or federal job, there is no pension.
No, they're private pensions, yes.
A private pension if you opted for it. But most people, working and they get to the age of 62, they think that they're going into retirement, they're going to get pension, which really they mean is they're getting the Social Security. Now
Right.
you get it.
So you can definitely still work, and look, even if you work a lot, right, it gets phased down. So don't be afraid for working. I'm not telling you to go out and go make $100,000, right? But you definitely have a part-time job, right? Maybe a little of the Social Security will be taxed at a certain, once you break it out. But really, it's not something. I haven't seen too many people.
I mean, there is no restriction if you choose to work.
I mean, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And
But
the tax remains the
there's also
same.
a middle ground where it's like, okay, if
Yeah.
I make this much, I might as well stay home.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's your personal preference.
Correct.
But when
you
it
will.
comes-
The Social Security does get
Yeah, so আপনার কয়েকটি প্রশ্ন উত্তরটা আপনি এরকম হবে। আপনি যদি বলে থাকেন যে আপনার বয়স 62 বছর হচ্ছে, আপনি সোশ্যাল সিকিউরিটির জন্য এলিজিবল হবেন, এই কারণে আপনি বলছেন আপনি রিটায়ার করতে যাচ্ছেন, তাহলে আসলে কিন্তু এটির কোনো বাধ্যবাধকতা নাই, এরপর আপনি কাজ করতে পারেন। কিন্তু যত কাজ করবেন আপনার সোশ্যাল সিকিউরিটিটা একটু ছোট হবে, আপনার এটির আয় কমবে, কারণ আপনি তখনও কাজ করছেন। বাট এর কোনো রেস্ট্রিকশনটি নেই। When it comes to taxes, a tax will remain the same. Tax পরিবর্তন হবে।
The only thing that's going to change is your Social Security income will become taxed.
Smaller, yeah.
No, it'll become taxed.
Yes,
taxable.
because you're going to make over 27,000.
Correct.
And
Look, if you make like $15,000, it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, so আপনার সোশ্যাল সিকিউরিটি, আপনি যদি ইনকাম বেশি হয় তখন আপনার সোশ্যাল সিকিউরিটিটা কমে আসবে, এটি একটি ব্যাপার। আবার আরেকটি ব্যাপার হচ্ছে, অনেকেই মনে করেন যে 62 বছর হচ্ছে আমি রিটায়ার করছি। আপনি যদি কোনো ফেডারেল জব, সিটি জব, স্টেট জব না করে থাকেন, অথবা আপনি কোনো খুব ভালো কোনো কোম্পানিতে কাজ করেছেন, সেখানে প্রাইভেট ফান্ডেড রিটায়ারমেন্ট ছিল, সেখানে কন্ট্রিবিউট করেছেন, এছাড়া কিন্তু কোনো পেনশন হয় না। সাধারণত আমি দেখেছি অনেকে বলেন যে আমি পেনশন নিতে যাচ্ছি, আসলে উনি যেটি বোঝাতে চাচ্ছেন যে উনি সোশ্যাল সিকিউরিটির পয়সাটি পেতে যাচ্ছেন অ্যাট এজ 62, সেটি কিন্তু পেনশন না, মনে রাখবেন। ওকে,
Also, just to go, the person who asked that question, look, this is why you want to have a good tax person to go to run a projection, and then you can see where you want your middle ground to be.
রাইট। অ্যান্ড আমার পরামর্শ হবে আপনি যে কোনো একজন ভালো অ্যাকাউন্টেন্ট বা গুড সিপি এর সাথে বসুন, একটু পরামর্শ করে নিন, কারণ টেলিভিশনে আপনার প্রশ্নটা আমরা শুনেছি, কিন্তু দেয়ার আর মিসিং ডিটেলস, বেশ কিছু ডিটেলস মিসিং। হয়তো পরবর্তীতে আমরা যখন কথা বলবো আরেকটু ডিটেলস নিয়ে নিব, কিন্তু আমি আপনাকে পরামর্শ দিব, আপনি আলাপ করে নেবেন, কিছু যায় আসে না। আপনি যদি কাউকে মাইকেলের কাছে আপনি যেতে পারেন, he doesn't even charge you for this kind of information, so that's just a suggestion. So Mike, we are at the end, so you want to say any last word to everybody?
Look, everyone who's watching, look, give us a ring, give us a call, you know, we're always here to help you. You know, my entire staff speaks Bengali, so don't be afraid of that. But look, we're here to help you, and look, this tax season is very different from everything else you guys have been against. So look, you need someone who's qualified, who actually knows what they're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we're going to continue on a different episode on the capital gains and
Yeah.
stock market and
That's gonna be
small
a good one.
business in details. Mike, thanks again for coming,
man.
and I'm glad that you showed up after a long time.
Thank you.
It's
man.
always a fun to have
You
show
got
with
it.
you. Okay, দর্শক আপনারা যারা অনুষ্ঠানটি দেখছিলেন, আশা করি অনুষ্ঠানটি ভালো লেগেছে। আশা করি বেশ কিছু বিষয় আপনাদের সামনে উপস্থাপন করতে পেরেছি, যেটি আপনাদের উপকার লাগবে। আজকের অনুষ্ঠানটি এখানে শেষ করছি। যে যেখানে থাকবেন ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন, নিরাপদে থাকবেন। দেখা হবে পরবর্তী অনুষ্ঠানে। শুভরাত্রি।
টিবিএন 24 টেলিভিশন দেখতে আজই কল করুন 7187776556। লগ ইন করুন www.totalcablebd.com।
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত টিবিএন 24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।